Well, all right. Some people that I like very much told me I should continue to read a little bit before bedtime. So, Vanessa, Eleanor, I hope you have a great sleep tonight. I can't imagine this is going to be a great bedtime story, but we'll keep going. Part 8, the credit trap and self-exploitation. 8.2, born good or born bad? Jean-Roch Rousseau is the WWE wrestling equivalent. Just kidding, it's not. Jean-Jacques Rousseau famously said, "Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains." He believed that in our natural state, before laws, governments, and economies, we were good. That was society itself, with all its rules and expectations, that corrupted us. Many of us hold this belief even if we don't realize it. It's baked into how we see the world, how we think about fairness, freedom, and morality. We might believe that if someone is struggling, it must be because society's failed them. Or we might feel a deep sense of betrayal when institutions we trust turn out to be unfair or predatory. That's Rousseau in the back of your mind, whispering that people are good and the system is broken and corrupting them. But not everyone sees it that way. Thomas Hobbes, writing a century earlier, had a much different view. He thought that in our natural state, without the structure of control, people were selfish and violent. He famously described life in that state as solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. In Hobbes' view, we don't need society to corrupt us, we need it to restrain us, to make us good. Hobbes believed we form what he called a social contract. We give up some of our freedoms in exchange for protection and order. That contract creates what he called the Leviathan, an all-powerful state with an authority to keep us in check. To Hobbes, in our natural state, we are unbridled and violent, born into war of an all against all. And it is through society that we raise ourselves up from the brutality of the natural world. For Rousseau, we are born peaceful and compassionate. And it is through society we become corrupted away from peace of the natural world. Now you might be wondering, what does this have to do with credit or debt or restructuring? Here's the connection. These aren't just philosophical ideas. They're frameworks for how we structure society, and more importantly, how we internalize that structure, how we structure our minds. They shape how we judge ourselves and others. Whether we believe someone in debt is a victim of a broken system, or whether we think they need more discipline and consequences, whether we see insolvency laws as an act of mercy, or a loophole for the irresponsible. Even if you've never read a page of Hobbes or Rousseau, chances are you're living out some version of their ideas. We all are. We're all walking around with these inherited beliefs about human nature, power, and fairness. And those beliefs shape how we react when things fall apart and our worldview is shattered. Power relations are now a huge part of the cultural zeitgeist. Whether man is born good or born evil has fallen from the contemplation of most people, and instead, they're focused on the power relations that exist between people and institutions. And much of this can be traced back to the French philosopher Michel Foucault. We're going to keep going to the next part. 8.3, power. In his 1975 book, Discipline and Punish, Michel Foucault introduced us to the idea that we live in what he called a disciplinary society. This isn't a society ruled by laws or force, but one where power is exercised through subtle, persistent systems of surveillance and normalization. One of the core images Foucault uses is Jeremy Bentham's concept of the panopticon, a prison design where the central guard tower is surrounded by a ring of cells. The brilliance of the design is that the guards can see every prisoner, but the prisoners can't see into the tower. They never know when they're being watched. And because of that uncertainty, they begin to watch themselves. They act morally, not from an inherent moral sentiments, but rather from the fear of being caught and suffering punishment. The genius of the panopticon isn't the surveillance itself, it's the internalization of surveillance. Once people believe they're always being watched, they start to regulate their own behavior. They become their own jailers. Foucault believed that this structure extended far beyond the prison. Schools, workplaces, hospitals, and even families can act like panoptic institutions. Everyone begins to conform, to behave in normal ways. Not because they're being forced to, but because they fear the consequences of being driven or seen as divergent. You don't even need an authority figure to correct you. The group will do it. Your peers, your community, yourself. This pressure to be normal, to be acceptable, creates what Foucault called a docile body. A person who is easy to manage, to train, to put to work. In a disciplinary society, power doesn't just come from above. It's diffused through the very structure of how we live, and it creates people who discipline themselves automatically, constantly, and often painfully. For Foucault, every relationship between people, between institutions, even between ourselves and our own thoughts, can ultimately trace back to power. Who holds it? Who doesn't? Who benefits? Who obeys? Power is a compelling lens to view the world through, and it's one that's taken hold of much of modern critical thought. But there's a risk here too. When we filter everything through the lens of power, we can flatten the rich, messy, emotional, and unpredictable complexity of human life into a single, all-consuming narrative. As powerful as it is, power can become a kind of thought-terminating cliche. A story that explains everything, and in doing so, leaves no room for anything else, to say nothing of the damage that the drama triangle of victim, oppressor, rescuer has on individuals and their community. Well, my friends, that was both 8.2 and 8.3. And now it's time to go to bed. I hope you enjoyed the reading of Beyond Material Salvation by myself, the author Sean A. Stack, and I hope you have a great sleep tonight. Bye-bye.